Yeah, I don't know how. Llama. Let's get it in, y'all. I don't know how long this thing gonna take. I gotta get me a new laptop. I'm doing this on my tablet and my phone. And for some reason, it keep cutting off. I guess they don't want this message getting out. And I don't even think I'm doing a good job, but it's the message. So I still can't get to it. So let me just go over what we did go over. I'm gonna try to go ahead and get this out. But we did go over. I am in the Father. I say, I am in the Father, I am in you. Christ is all and is all. So what that really is just taking us back to our story being confined through the universe method. I told you everybody has their own story, okay, but it's only one story. So our stories are combining. So if that even makes sense. So you just got to try to put your mind's eyes. But when you figure out who I am, and which I'm gonna get to that now real quick. So another thing is name. Jesus said, "Ask them my name." Ask them my name, and he's not literally saying his name. Again, name is a symbolic meaning for way. And I think that's why well, I don't even think, I know that's why they called the church back then in that time, it was called the way. And the church changed it. That was the first church called the way. And Jesus was pretty much telling us, acts in the way that he did it. And the way he tell us to do it. He said the narrow way is through the eye, the eye of the needle. If a camel could go through the eye of a needle, and we know we ain't talking about a regular needle, but if you knew the story of a camel, have to stoop down and get under the gate enter the gates. It was another entrance for the camels. They had to stoop all the way down, fold their knees, go bow real low, and enter to the eye of the needle. That was the needle they was talking about. But this is what he's talking about in the Bible. It's the way. So he was saying the narrow way. The narrow way is the eye, the single eye way. And again in John 16:26, Jesus said he would not intercede for us. So again, he was saying, don't ask me for nothing. And we going to find out what that really mean. What did he really mean when he said, don't ask him for nothing? He said, ask my Father. And then you're going to find out, I'm do the etymology of the Father. And again, we talked about his Jacob name being changed from Jacob to Israel. We also talk about Moses. Well, we didn't talk about Moses, but I did want to go over Moses because I wanted to do the symbolic of what Moses was all about when Moses went into the desert when he was in the exile. And another part of that is also about the business part, what Moses really was doing. Okay, back then, if you want to make the story real, they real, but if you want to make the story real, it's real. But he was teaching these people that out of Exodus. It was all about bankruptcy and banking law back then. But Moses, when they said Moses, I wrote it down. Moses went into the desert. He went into the desert, and he went into the desert. Desert is the symbolic word for confused. Moses was confused, and he didn't know which way to go. He didn't know which way to turn, so he went to the mountain. He went to the mountain, and the mountain, which is the higher conscious. And the higher conscious we already considered was the Father, okay? And that's where everybody met the Father at. That's what Jacob met the Father at, in the higher conscious. And when he was in the met the Father at the higher conscious, he saw what? A bush, a burning bush, right? So he saw the burning bush, okay? And the burning bush, by being connected to the center of the carnal mind, which is the earth. It was being connected to the earth, which is the center of the carnal mind, okay? And that's because it's attached to the earth. So they call that the center of the carnal mind. Like I told you, we had the four element, which is the earth, the water, the air, and the fire. And when the burning bush, you saw it on fire. Fire is equal spirit, okay? So we have the four element by Moses being confused. They don't have him in order, but Moses being confused, that's the desert, okay? Then the mountain is the highest conscious, which is the Father. The bush is the center of the earth. That's the carnal mind, okay? Just like our flesh. Just like our flesh. We'll put that on there. Just like our flesh. And the fire is the spirit, okay? And what happened is when he got up there, he saw this, he was single-minded. When he got up there, that means he was single-minded. When you look at it, I know what it means. So that means he was in meditation. Because when he was up there, it wasn't, he was really literally speaking to, but when he was up there, he just asked him, what is your name? Okay? What is your name? All right, give me a second. And you got to understand the reason why they do these words, like the desert, the mountain, the bush, and the fire, why they did it like that, it was symbolic because this is the way the European wrote the Bible. This is the way they wrote the Bible, okay? So that's why they did it stuff like that. This is the way the European worked about it. Everything was symbolic and I think even in math, it was allegory. I think in Mark, oh my God, I can't remember. I think it's Mark 6. And I would be lying if I tell you if I knew what chapter, but even Mark, I think it's Mark 6. But he talked about the allegory. Let's see if I can find it. The gospel say, it's the gospel according to Mark and where it say Mark is an allegory because although it say Mark is an allegory because although it appears to be a straightforward of the life of Jesus, the contents and the structure of the narrative are carefully arranged to convey deeper and non-literature meaning. So even Mark said, I think it was in Mark 6. I think it was Mark 6. It said, yeah, Mark said, it speaks to evangelists and the importance of getting to know and loving our neighbor. I think it's Mark 6, so I'm not going to get into it. I'll find it and bring it next time. But Mark 6 it tells us about the Bible being an allegory. It tells us about the story of Abraham and Sarah being an allegory. Like God changed Sarah's name from Sarah to Sarah. So he changed the name. So your name is changed, but your name, your path and your journey will always take you to your purpose and your journey. See, even though you change your name, your path's gonna be the same. Yeah, I think you have to go through that name changing. I think we all have to go through that name changing. I mean, when I look at a lot of people's life, even especially my loved ones that gone, everybody's original name is one thing, but they all call another name. And I remember just looking at their name, and their name still represent their name, their original name, Strong, like my Uncle Strong, the King, and my cousin Knuckle, my brother Gary, my cousin Boo Boo, and I look at these names, and I say their name because they still fresh on me. Even my cousin Kiki, all of them, and I say their name because they present and stood here with me, and that's really why I wear this vest. I'm trying not to get emotional, but I wear this vest, and I pretty much wear it every day. And I wear it to represent my loved ones that's gone. And I said I was going to take it off after a year when my cousin Kiki died, but I never got to take it off because before I could take it off, another family member was lost. And then, not even a month after he passed, another great family member was lost. So I'm still stuck in this vest, and it's not about being just the vest. It's just a representation to keep me girded up, keep myself girded, because I can get emotional and get lost, and this is one of my ways just to honor them and keep them present with me. And I would literally, and I tell you, I got on my boxes now, but I got on this, and you would think I've been outside in this, but most days I am. But again, I just wanted to reiterate, but I done ran off and got lost. But when Moses, he said, when Moses asked, what is your name? Let me write this, erase that. So Moses, I just read, but Moses asked him, what is your name? I done wrote all that, this erase. He asked him, what is your name? And he said, I am that I am. Now, why did he use I am that I am twice, okay? So that's how we're going to say, why did he use I am that I am twice? Let me put that out. I am that I am, okay? And this is why he did it, because you got the YH, and then you got the WH, and the YH is the male, I'm going to show you in a minute, and the WH is the female. Christ said he made ye all male and female. So it was two creation in the Bible. And I'm not going to get into both creation because I'm going to talk about this because it's going to represent his name. And then when you look at the YH, which is the male, and he's the mind, and then you look at the WH, which is the female, and she's the spirit, and she's the spirit, okay? And this is, okay, you got the YH, which is the male. I don't know how good y'all can see that. Okay, you got the YH, which is the male, and he's the mind. And then this represents the divine masculine energy and the divine feminine energy. Okay, it's the balance in it. And then you got the WH, which is the female, which is the spirit. So when you look at and you put the words together, you're going to have YH, WH. And we call that Yahweh, okay? We call that Yahweh. And this is the way the European did it. But when you look at it, there really was no Y back then. There was no Y in Latin back then. So the Y became an I. So there was no Y. So the Y became an I. And they got the H. And there wasn't a W. So it was the B. And that was the H. So there also was no I. So that became J. And this how you got Jehovah, okay? Jehovah. And this is some stuff we really made up, but that's really not his name because he said I. You know, when Jesus said, ask me, he said, ask me anything. He said, ask me anything. He said, ask anything in my name and I would do it. That's what he said. He said, I would do it. He said, I would do it. But he's not saying he would do it. He said, I would do it. That's what he's talking about. That's his name, I. And that's Mama Yah. He said, I would do it. He said, I. He ain't saying Jesus would do it because he could do nothing. He said he wouldn't do nothing. Where was that scripture at? It was scripture, I think it was 16:26. Yeah, John 16:26. Jesus said he would not pray for you. He would not intercede for you. He said, ask me nothing, even though he said, ask my Father in my name. And he pretty much said, ask my Father in my name, in my way. Again, name is the symbolic for my way. And that's what the church was called, the way back then. And he pretty much said, ask my Father in my way, go within yourself, your sinner self, your higher conscience. Once you elevate it in your inner conscience, you ask, and I, which is God, the Most High God, the Most High Mother and Father. So I hope y'all got that. So again, I'm going to do the metaphor for the mother and the father. So when you do the metaphor, when you say father, when you do father, Father, so we got, what we got? We got fat, and we got her, but fat her, or you could be fat he, you know what I mean? But it was all about her. This is the Mother Yah. This is Mother Yah. I call her Mama Yah, but it's Mother Gaia because she's the creator. She was the creator, and I'm not going to go deep into that because that's something totally different. I don't want to get anybody lost. But you got to look at the etymology of it, and you got to keep the balance. You got to keep the balance, and that's where the Yahweh comes. The Yahweh that they made up, the YHWH, and he said, like again, that's male. He made them all, and you can look this up, male and female, male and female, male and female. The female is the spirit, and you're gonna meet the spirit right up in here. The mind is the male is the mind, So it's all about the spirit. The mind is where everything is being contained in. Okay, we can't eliminate the mind, but the spirit is all about the higher conscious. They both are higher conscious, a balance. Keep that balance in it, you know. And it just did deep when he said, ask the Father anything in my name and I would do it. And he said, he not literally saying he would do it. He's saying I. That's the Father's name. That's the Most High. That's the Mama Yah. That's who's going to do it. But how he going to get them to do it? You don't have to ask for money in anything. And if you go and meditate, you don't have to, I don't care what you're going through, your body need healing, whatever, you go over and meditate. You don't have to ask for these things, because once you meditate, the Father, that's why he said the Father knows what you need. You know, just like the lily of the valley. They don't ask to be fed, or the birds don't have to be fed, the sparrow. You know, the eyes on the sparrow. The eye is on the sparrow. Not these eyes. This eye. The eye. The higher conscious eye. You know what I mean? The conscious eye, not even the third eye, but it's, you can say the third eye because it's the Most High. The Most High Mother and Father. Eye is on a sparrow, and that's what that's all about. And finally got to the point of the identity of who I am. So if you ask me who God is, I would say I am. You know what I mean? Because literally, I'm not saying that I am God, but I am God. You know what I mean? That's why I said that one time on my page, and people didn't get it, and I knew they wasn't gonna get it. And I know a lot of people called me, it was blasphemy, woo, 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 this and that, but you don't get it. And I say, I am Jesus. I am a reputation because our story combined. His story and my story is a reflection of one another. So again, if you know the word of the Bible, and you take it and you flip it, I'm telling you, I used to fight over this with pastors, so I let it go because I knew I couldn't know more than them because I wasn't elevated to this level yet. So I had to keep going into the depth. Like I said, I jumped on the bandwagon. I had to take that lesson. I had to go to that university. You know, I had to go to that university. And these pastors, they know. I don't care, my family, whoever. If you went to theology school, you know. When I enrolled in Liberty College, I enrolled in Liberty College when I was in Utah. Got my course and lesson, everything. And I had already joined, got my course, everything. Did my first lesson, I got sick. The Most High said, no, we don't want you to go to university. We're going to teach you. So I was devastated because I didn't understand that then at the time. But I do now because if I went to that university, I would have got indoctrinated and I would have been deceiving people just like them. Same way with the courts, the Lord and the judge. You would think, and some pastors don't know, just like some judges don't know the law that they make it, because I went in my courtroom, now the judge didn't change the court. Then, you know what I mean? They didn't change the court case, and they changed the judge, and woo, this and that, because some of these judges don't even know the law. They don't know the law, and yeah, they know the Bible, they know certain things about it, and woo, this and that, but some of them don't want to get tangled up in this, and everything finna fall. Even when you say you're a Republican or a Democratic, that's all that's about. You've been a slave to either one. So you should be neither one. You shouldn't. I never in my life voted. I never in my life, you can look, I never registered or anything. I was going to do it for Obama, but I didn't. You know what I mean? Because Mo High told me don't vote for him because he was a state. That was going to be the first time I was going to register. But he told me don't. I never voted for Trump. And you might think I'm an advocate for Trump, but I don't. When I do the etymology for Trump name, I know what it always had in there. It had true, T-R-U. It had true in there. So the truth is going to come out. It's going to come out true. It's an abbreviation for true, what we call true if you're slanging it. And that's what I do. You got to slang it sometime. There's a lot of other words in there, but I got that came straight out for me. And I know where we at in that time. And the only thing going to happen is the truth going to be revealed, and a whole lot of other stuff that's going to happen. So you could get the truth, and the truth can set you free. So if you didn't get anything on that, and I probably ran through that, and you probably still didn't understand that, but I hope you understand what I mean, okay? When I say, when you ask me who is God, and I say I am, you know, not literally me, but I am God, you know, I, and he's in the center of me. And if I don't recognize that he's in the center of me, there's no real way I can overstand the situation that I get into. So a lot of people look at me like, how you go through that and not lose your mind? How you go through that and not, you know, lose hope? How you go through that and not lose, you know, faith? A lot of people ask me, when I started, they thought I was against Christ. I'm not against Christ. I'm finally following Christ. I'm probably the only one, I can't say I'm the only one, but as far as I know, I'm literally following Christ because the church is not going to allow you to truly follow Christ. If you follow his, he said, if you follow my commandments, then you are in me and I abide in you. You people might think you going to church and you might really think you following Christ. You're not, because you're not even following what he's saying. And I didn't even touch a tip of what the notes I got here. I'm just going off the brain. I hit a couple of these scriptures, but if we really get deep in these scriptures, you're not following. Go in there and read your Bible. Read everything Christ said and see if it's the same thing the Bible says. See if it's truly what you mean. And I tend to keep coming through here and breaking down some of the stuff that Christ said. Okay, because you have to understand who Christ is, and when you really find out, because I'm not trying to expose it, I'm going to reveal it, and that's what time we is. In time of revelation, it's time to reveal. That's what revelation means. We're going to reveal the real, okay? So if you got some scandalous ways, some hidden stuff, it's going to be revealed. Everything is finna be revealed. The whole Bible is finna be revealed. And that's part of my assignment. And that's why when somebody asks me, say, you sounded slow, you dragging in, yeah. And I love that criticism. I needed it because I needed to let them know, I'm not here trying to be like everybody on YouTube. I'm just trying to get the message out. My thing is to get the message out. Hopefully you feel like you in school. This is a lesson you don't want to take. So if, again, your session can end real quick if you don't want to take the lesson or hear the lesson. It can end real quick. So it's just about me regurgitating what I know, the information that I know. I can write this all day. I got so many notebooks, so many, and I lost so many. But I like to write it because once I write it, it get into me. You know, I absorb information and knowledge. I absorb it. And if sometimes I might seem like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I do. I promise you I do. But my mind I'm studying so much stuff. So if I have to regurgitate and bring up stuff at that moment, that I'm not on that. I'm not on that right now. I can't spend my energy like I used to spend it. That's why I don't spend my time with people who I used to spend it with, because I can't just keep pouring out my energy because I'm not getting anything back, if that makes sense. So again, I hope you all got something out of this, because it felt good, especially now that I know I hope y'all got I am. I finally told you about I am and Yahweh, which I did that before, but I hope you really got something out of it, and I'm really just ready to end this lesson, but it's not ending, this is just the beginning. This ain't even the tip of the iceberg of the lesson. So I'm going to change my hours on it. So again, that's it. I'm going over 22 minutes, so I know it's finna click off. But again, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all just for listening. Thank you for your criticism, and I like it. It's constructive criticism, and I like it. And so keep giving it. I appreciate you. Ashe.